This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. You can find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Welcome to Story Over Everything, episode 19, Elite Elegy. So I'm going to be talking about a couple things. This is a Fabula Machina or Story Machine episode of Story Over Everything. I'm going to be sharing with you an update on my writing projects, and then I will be talking to you about a story idea I came up with. You can use it as a prompt if you want to for your own writing, or just something to think about. I actually came up with an idea on my own and made it into a prompt, and then I processed the prompt through a little something, and I'll share with you the results of that in a little bit. So, getting back to the first part of this, I'm going to talk about my updates on my writing projects. So, I have the Grobug series of books. It's 5 children's picture books, all inspired by Tokusatsu. That'd be Godzilla, Ultraman, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Digimon. And because that's the sort of thing I'm into, and I thought I'd like to have cool children's picture books about these. So I wrote 5 books, and I'm pretty satisfied with them. I've continued to tweak them, and I even came up with an idea for a bigger book that encompasses these 5 stories of the 5 like hero bugs. Well, and a Grobug is basically a guardian angel that helps children to be protected from and saved from dangers in the night of various types. There's supernatural, basically, supernatural challenges or foes that they face. They're not all the same thing. They're all various types of dangers that kids face, and they have different purposes and different causes and different goals. But ultimately, they all victimize children in order to benefit themselves. And because of that, I recently developed the name for them, which is Hobnot, kind of like hobgoblin. The phrase hob is an old term, I don't know, Old English, Old French, Old German, and it refers to basically like a night terror. So at one point, early on in my drafts of some of these stories, I had thought about calling them terrors or figments or, you know, nightmares, K-N-I-G-H-T, nightmares, things like that, which I still think is a fun idea, but I've generally called them now all hobnots, and like I said, I developed that word recently, and they're explorers in the night who explore terror, sort of children. So, yeah, it's, I think it's a cool set of books, and like I said, I'm working on them, and as I've developed my larger manuscript that goes into the each book is basically told from the perspective, well, it's not really from the perspective of the child, but it's told with the child as the hero, the main character. They're the focus, and they're all told in third person, and the Grobugs make appearances in the books, and they're helping to save the day, but they're not 100% what the book's about. It's about how these children, with the help of these Grobugs, can overcome these things. And as I spent more time thinking about these stories, I thought, I'd kind of like to explore what's it like for the Grobugs in this, if I'm creating this world with multiple books, kids in different places all being negatively affected by these hobnots, then what's the deal with that? Why do they exist? Why do the Grobugs exist? Who set this up? And as I'm a believer in a divine power and divine source, I decided to include that as an aspect of my storytelling, and I have the idea that basically, like I said, these things are guardian angels, but I kind of meant that literally, that they're sent by God, whoever he is in your estimation, because I leave it vague and open for interpretation, and he sends these things out in order to protect innocent children, which I think is a cool thing. But basically what I've been doing is rewriting each of the 5 Grobug books with the 5 Grobug guardians, who are the heroes or helpers in those books. I've been rewriting those stories from their perspective, and I've been inserting those into this overall story I have of a fresh group of Grobug cadets who are training and being raised to grow up and be either a soldier support or like a seer prophet type of bug. Like they differentiate and specialize down into different groupings that all have different strengths. They have things in common that they share, but they have different strengths that distinguish them from each other and enable them to do different things together. And when they work together, they can accomplish a lot more. So I have kind of this militaristic vibe to it, where they're guardians. They're called guardians, keepers, and seers. And the guardians fight the terrors. The seers kind of handle calms between groups of Grobugs, as well as seeing when a kid is in danger and needs help and dispatching the guardians to help them with that. And the keepers offer I guess you could say, vital support to their fellow Grobugs. So they raise food, they raise the kids, they might have healing magic or powers and things like that, so that they can help injured guardians or seers or whoever among their ranks. And that's kind of the idea I have. And as I've developed that idea for this book that collects their stories and has an overall narrative, which I call Grobug Tales, I have had to go back and revise the other Grobug books, because as I've learned more about the society and culture and character of these various Grobug characters, I've had to go back, or I've taken the opportunity to go back and inform specifically some details in the books, the individual books of the the kid and the Grobug. That's my little code name for those 5 Grobug picture books. And it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed that work, and I've enjoyed the process, and I've learned a lot along the way. I've kind of talked about that already, what I learned from writing these Grobug books, the Grobug picture books, in rapid succession, so I won't go over that, but I will let you know that you can find that in the catalog of the Story Over Everything episodes. So if you're curious, you can go ahead and find that. That and more is at mjmunoz.com. And I would like to continue by saying that the progress of where I'm at is I'm on the 3rd Grobug retelling, and for whatever reason, or Grobug, Kid in the Grobug book retelling in this story, and basically I've decided to have these Grobug cadets being raised up and trained in whatever in various ways. They're being trained physically, and they have to accomplish tasks and cultivate discipline and strength and toughness and things like that through life experience. But I also believe in story as a vehicle for change, and I believe in story as a platform for education and I think stories are really important. So I have this kind of like oral tradition type thing going on here, where the idea is, as part of their training, the young Grobugs get to hear war stories basically from older Grobugs and learn lessons from them. So I'm having the heroes of these Grobug books tell their stories firsthand, and the first 2 are pretty straightforward. In the 3rd one that I'm working on, I decided I would, it's the longest Grobug Kid in the Grobug book I have so far. Like, it's really long. It's, I think, 2,000 words or something like that, maybe closer to 2,500, which is not the standard length for a children's picture book at all. It's quite long in comparison to what is regularly done today, which I think I've seen recently 400 to 500 words. I thought a year or 2 ago that it was 800 to 1,000 words, and anyway, I've safely doubled that. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I actually had so much of the story involve the kid herself, and so little of it involving the Grobug, that I decided I'm going to, well, I'm still undecided as to how I'm going to tell that story, but I have maybe even another book that I could, short story that I could spin off, telling the story of this Grobug trying to infiltrate this this barrier. Well, let me just put it that way: barrier blocking her from getting to the kid and helping her. So, and it's been pretty interesting, and it's funny how much I'm figuring all of this out as I go along. And as I'm figuring this out, I'm trying to figure out how to turn myself into a successful author. And I keep hearing email. Building an email list is the thing you want to do, and it's a key to success, and it's old, and it's not spicy or alluring or hip or in or on trend or anything like that. TikTok is the current thing that's a big deal, and who knows how soon that may change. Apparently they're going to be starting their own publishing imprint called Eighth Note Publishing, and who knows what's going to happen there. So platforms come and go, social media comes and goes, but if you have an email list, email is a protocol. Basically, the protocol will not come and go. The protocol has been here for, it's 2023 as I say this. What's email been around for? 40 years? Since probably 1990. So we go 90 to 2000, 2010 to 20 to, okay, 33 years. Let's say email's been around. I think it's actually older than that, but more widely in use is the 30 years might be about right. Anyway, that protocol will change and will permutate through different things, but it'll stay the same, and it'll keep working. It'll keep being used. And so I took 2 short online classes, introductions to email list building, guides to email list building from 2 different individuals or organizations. I won't be specific, I won't name, but I'll just call them Party A and Party B. I found it interesting that, I found both Party A and Party B's explanation of why you need an email list and how important it is to cultivate that and grow it, and use that to sell your books to those people on your email list, and then sell them subsequent books in your series, or direct them to new books that you're writing. And again, I thought this was fascinating, interesting, and the presentation from both parties was well done, and it was enlightening, and it really made me feel motivated to go ahead and get started on building up my email list. And something that I like that they both said, or not that, it's affirming to me, so it feels comfortable, therefore I liked it, right? Is that even if you don't have a book out now, it is prudent to go ahead and start assembling a reading list or an email list. Start building your email list so that when you're ready to launch your books, you can send your books you can send the announcement of your launch to people on your email list, and that's great. And there was in one of the courses, there was a method shared for increasing eyes on your books and turning that into more people to subscribe, and then turning those subscribers into people who turn around and give you greater exposure. And it was this really interesting cycle using email sequencing, where you can actually set up your emails so that when somebody subscribes to whatever list you have, and you can have various lists too, that you can have a track for them to go on, basically, where they get everybody gets the same sequence of emails in the same order, sequentially from when they join with you. And I thought that was really neat, especially with how one of the authors was talking about how to leverage that and use that in part to create yourself a wider base of readers, potential audience, and people to buy your book, and again turn other people onto your stuff as well. So really interesting. I do have a preference for one person's presentation, or one party's presentation over the others, but that doesn't matter to you. But something else that I found interesting is that the way I got notified of these is that I was somehow on an email list for both these people. Now, Party B, I had been on their email list for a while because I'd elected to do that about a year ago. Party A, I think they like guest emailed or guest posted on another party's, party C, on party C's email, flyer, bulletin, whatever, that I'm part of. So, I believe that the whole email thing can work because it's working on me. These people are literally using their list and their email process to get me interested in what they're providing. And honestly, both of them finished with a sales pitch, and one sales pitch was more attractive than the other, but again, that doesn't matter, and I didn't buy either. But one, I definitely the first one I heard, I thought, well, let me wait to see what party B will say and what their sales pitch is going to be, because I feel like they're probably going to have a sales pitch too. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. They're creating funnels, they're creating contacts, they're trying to get themselves in front of customers to support their livelihood, and that's exactly what I want to do. So I'm trying to learn from them, and it's been a very interesting process trying to learn this. And I have resources from both of them that they offered for free, and I will look at those, review them, and try to implement them, and eventually set up my own, please sometimes within a month or two, set up my own email list and start building that up so that when I am ready to publish, I'll have people to go to and people to get reviews from and such. That's just part of the plan. So anyway, there's that aspect of this episode, this edition of Story Over Everything. So I want to go ahead and move away from that now and talk about, go into the Fabula Machina section. And again, this is created by me, don't be confused, because I'm going to be using ChatGPT 3 later, and you'll hear from that. But I did all this work myself, this first bit of work myself. So I wanted to come over the story with keywords, and I actually came up with these keywords after the fact, but I'm going to operate a little differently going forward. The keywords are war, decentralized, peace, anti-war, law, and justice. So those are keywords or key concepts in this story, and I put those all together into a prompt, I guess you could call it, called Elite Elegy, and this is what it is. Communications tech is no longer able to be censored. Nearly a dozen heads of state have been arrested and executed for war crimes they have ordered. A decentralized network of hackers and computer engineers orchestrated these events under the direction of an eclectic group of grassroots activists, with one goal uniting them: depower the oligarchs. So Elite Elegy can be taken in multiple directions. What would you do with these ideas? What would you do with this prompt? I would turn Elite Elegy into an action thriller story of revenge called Cyber Wolf. And here's my pitch. Real quick, short pitch. A veteran and his team are tasked with capturing the government officials who lied their country into war under false pretenses. How did that get discovered? Well, because of the leaks done by the hacking group and whatnot. So here's the synopsis of that story that I came up with. I've never done this. I've never come up with a character for this before, so this was all fresh for me today. Guadalupe Guerrero was almost ready to put the past behind him. The war had cost his brother his life and him an eye. He rested, recovered, and then kept moving. He found work with a private security firm a good fit. It still hurt, but he kept moving. Until the leaks destroyed his life for a second time. It had all been a lie. Classified documents openly admitted it. Private messages that were supposed to have been scrubbed and destroyed were found and clear for all to see. The war had been a lie, not a mistake, but a fabrication. Guadalupe and Rigo, his brother, had believed in the cause. They wanted to be heroes, but they had been pawns. The politicians tried to bury it, but they couldn't. The truth stayed out, and the people demanded justice. Guadalupe wanted revenge. The guilty fled and dug into fortified positions meant to protect them. Guadalupe pulled every connection he could to get assigned to the extraction team. So that's what I had in mind. That's what I put together for this story. And the name Cyberwolf and some other ideas for this story, I had worked on or come up with, I don't know, a year or two ago, and just kind of logged it in my memory. I logged it in some notes. I couldn't find them today, but I worked off of what I had memorized, and I just kind of wrote this fresh new approach, and I gave him a name and gave his brother a name, and that's the work I did on it today. Now, I asked ChatGPT 3 to spin Elite Elegy into 10 different book proposals, and this is what it gave me. And these, I have not read any of these. I skimmed over them to make sure they're all short, so they're all just like a couple sentences, and it came up with a title. It came up with a title for each one and a genre or subgenre for it. So here we go. Book 1, Unsilenced Revolt, dystopian thriller. Synopsis: in a dystopian future, communications technology becomes impossible to censor. A charismatic hacker and her team leverage this newfound power to expose the war crimes committed by heads of state. As they execute their plan, they encounter unexpected challenges and face grave consequences in their quest to dismantle the reign of the oligarchs. Okay, so I don't know who the lady is, if it just decided to pick a gender or sex, whatever, and say this is a man, this is a woman, whatever. So we'll see if it ping-pongs back and forth, or I entered Guadalupe in at some point, because I asked it to kind of do an outline with the prompt that I made, and Guadalupe is both a man's name and a woman's name, because that's the way it works for some reason. I guess it's gender neutral because the way it ends, but like it sounds like a woman's name. And you know, doesn't everybody have a Guadalupe? Anyway, so moving on to book 2, Whispers of Justice, which is a political drama. Synopsis: when communications tech becomes uncensored, a whistleblower leaks classified documents revealing the war crimes committed by powerful heads of state. As public outrage grows, a determined investigative journalist races against time to uncover the truth and bring the perpetrators to justice, facing threats and obstacles along the way. Sounds pretty cool, actually. Book 3, Invisible Strings, which is a techno thriller. Synopsis: a brilliant computer engineer creates a revolutionary decentralized network capable of bypassing censorship. As this network gains popularity, a mysterious group of hackers joins forces to expose the war crimes of heads of state. The engineer finds herself caught in a dangerous web of intrigue and must protect her invention from those who seek to control it. I had no idea it would be an invention, and in fact, I kind of think that violates the principle of it being decentralized, but, you know, it's trying. Maybe the protocol, maybe she's got some sort of device that she uses. You could come up with something to justify that if you wanted to work with that, in fact, which, you know, I'm not ready to at this point. All right, number 4, Shadows of Retribution. This is an action-packed adventure. Synopsis: a retired special forces operative, yeah boy, haunted by the war crimes he witnessed, is drawn into a mission of vengeance orchestrated by a decentralized network of activists and hackers. With an eclectic team at his side, he embarks on a globe-trotting journey to hunt down and bring the heads of state to justice, facing perilous encounters and personal demons along the way. Yeah, I would read that. That sounds super cool. Book 5, Echoes of Freedom, which is science fiction. Synopsis: set in a futuristic society where communication technology cannot be censored, a group of rebels fights against an oppressive government. Utilizing their technological skills and a decentralized network, they expose the war crimes of the heads of state, sparking a revolution that will change the course of history and determine the fate of humanity. Book 6, Web of Shadows, which is a psychological thriller. Synopsis: a brilliant but reclusive computer programmer discovers the uncensored, is it going to be a girl again? The uncensored nature of communication technology. Discovers the uncensored nature of communication technology. Obsessed with justice, he manipulates the decentralized network to expose the war crimes committed by heads of state. As he delves deeper into the dark web, he becomes entangled in a psychological game of cat and mouse that blurs the lines between truth and deception. That sounds cool. Book 7, Code of Resistance. Political suspense. Political suspense, huh? Synopsis: a disillusioned political aide stumbles upon evidence of war crimes while researching a high-profile scandal. She teams up with a group of activists and hackers who utilize the decentralized network to reveal the truth. As they face relentless opposition from powerful figures, they must navigate a dangerous landscape of politics and espionage to dismantle the oligarchs' hold on power. Chapter 8, Whistleblower's Redemption. Legal thriller. I don't know why, but that sounds like a romance novel title to me. Anyway, synopsis: a jaded lawyer takes on a seemingly impossible case when a whistleblower exposes the war crimes of heads of state. As she fights against powerful forces in the courtroom, she uncovers a network of activists and hackers who have orchestrated the exposure. With her reputation and life on the line, she seeks justice and redemption against all odds. Book 9, Hacktivist Uprising, Young Adult Adventure. Synopsis. In a near-future world where communication tech is uncensored, a teenager with exceptional hacking skills discovers evidence of war crimes committed by heads of state. Alongside a diverse group of young activists and computer prodigies, they form a decentralized network to take down the corrupt leaders. Their journeys become a thrilling coming-of-age adventure with high-stakes consequences. That actually sounds pretty okay. That sounds pretty okay. I especially like the idea of the people becoming the decentralized network, because I think that's how it'll work. I am interested in that idea, if you didn't gather already. Book 10, Last and Final, which is the same thing. Digital Anarchy, Cyberpunk Noir. Synopsis. In a gritty cyberpunk world, a street-savvy hacker with a dark past uncovers a conspiracy involving the heads of state and their war crimes. Teaming up with a mysterious group of underground rebels, they exploit the unfiltered communication tech to expose the truth. As the lines blur between justice and revenge, they navigate a neon-lit underworld filled with corruption and danger. Neon-lit. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that actually sounds pretty okay, too. I have questions. It's a little vague, but, like, if you read synopses of a lot of books, you can interpret that synopsis going different ways, and you could say, I never imagined that would happen in this book based on just the synopsis. So yeah, I thought those were pretty cool. I thought those were pretty cool indeed, and a lot of fun. And I mean, it's, proof that I just like the power of writing, the power of creativity is that you can take any ideas. I basically just wanted like a veteran, I have an anti-war outlook on life. Like, I would prefer for us not to get into useless, senseless wars and for young men and women to die for no reason, especially because it seems like for the last, couple decades, a few decades at least, if not more, in my country of origin, the bloodshed has been for the profit of few and for the detriment of all, or many. And the amount of blood spilled in the name of my country's foreign interests is revolting and repulsive to me, and I would love it to stop. And I want the truth to be able to be the thing that stops it, but the truth doesn't always work like that, and right now the truth is hidden, but I'm aware of different protocols and technologies that are being developed, being worked on, being explored right now that are going to change that. And the possibility of what could happen, what our future could look like in a world where the truth can't just be hidden by the people it would hurt, by the evil people it would hurt, it excites me, and it brings me hope, and it makes me long even more for justice. And I believe in the power of storytelling, and there's this mantra of support the troops, and I would argue that I'm supporting the troops by trying to not get them thrown into the meat grinder of endless stupid war on behalf of other people that they're tricked and fooled into, and all sorts of things. I was fooled into supporting wars that I now find evil and were fabricated, and I'll stop there right now. But yeah, this the idea of creating a story with a character who you could empathize with, who would learn the lesson of being lied into war, learn to be cautious about that thing, and use the skill that they learn to bring the actual culprits, the actual villains in the case, to justice. It feels very cathartic. Just saying that, I feel a little better. And it's a fiction, it's not true, but if it could become a popular fiction and it could stir the hearts of many people, what would they do? What would they learn? How would that affect their lives going forward? I don't know. But again, that's the power of storytelling that I'm interested in, and that I recognize, and that I feel myself being affected by. And yeah, that's why I wanted to share that with you. So anyway, this got weirdly personal, and I didn't mean it to. I don't know that will happen all the time in Story Over Everything, but this is who I am, and these are the things that spark my interest, and these are the things that this is my perspective on storytelling. So if you're into that, then I guess stick around for more. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. This went longer than I'd expected, and I need to attend to other matters. So until next time, this is MJ signing out. I hope you enjoyed that. Go to mjmunoz.com to leave any questions, comments, or other feedback you might have. There you can find all of my analysis, art, and fiction. I cover books, tokusatsu, comic books, anime, and more. Look around. You're sure to find something else that you'll enjoy as well. This has been a Story Over Everything production.